Oh.
Saved.
Saved. They can hear us. Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Sorry for the wait. Hi. They're here. Okay, guys, hi. We have a very special stream today. I'm very excited. I have been here before. You have not. I was here, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe a month ago.
Maybe a month ago. I was here because I recorded a YouTube video that is coming out today. So you guys have to go watch that. We're at Carnivoro, which is a plant nursery. We're here with Drew, who's the owner of Carnivoro. He's going to tell you guys all about it, and he's going to teach you all about the plants. I don't know very much about plants, but ever since coming here last time, I want to know everything about them, which will, take my whole life plus some.
1,000.
Those are alerts, so subscriptions and stuff like that. I'm going to tell Drew about Twitch today. He's going to tell us about plants.
Sounds great, yeah.
It is going to be awesome. The plan for today, okay, we have our first collab on Thursday with Steak and Creekcraft. Those are their YouTube names. And they're coming to Alveus, and I want to introduce plant ambassadors to them on Thursday for the first time, like during a collab. So I want to have plant ambassadors that we pick out today, that we adopt, if you will, today. I have googly eyes.
And super glue.
And glue. We will put eyes on the plants. You guys will name the plants, and those will be our plant ambassadors for Thursday. Drew is going to teach us about the plants, and then we'll pick them out, and that's the plan. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes. Great. Okay. Drew, do you want to introduce yourself and say where we are?
Yeah, sounds great. So I'm Drew Martinez. I am the owner and operator of Carnivoro. So we are sitting right now in, I think, the only carnivorous plant-focused nursery that is open to the public.
Is it like in the nation?
In the nation, yeah, I think so. I mean, there's other great nurseries out there, but I think we're the only one that has a storefront that you can actually come and walk in and experience all this.
Cool. And they just opened.
Yes, we just opened February 8th, so we have not even been open a month.
So sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so the idea here was to be able to welcome everybody so they could have an immersive experience, actually experience the plants firsthand, see all the different ways that we grow them, and then also be able to come and attend workshops and classes and that sort of stuff that we'll have periodically.
Yeah. I think that, I saw you say this in a video actually, I think that carnivorous plants are going to make the coolest ambassadors because they're such a good gateway, because they have those animal qualities, because there's something about them that people can relate to. So I think it's an awesome start. I'm really excited.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, I love plants. I've been so into carnivorous plants since I was 12 years old. Yeah. There's just been nothing that kind of stuck out so much.
The plant you've had since you were 12?
Yeah, that is actually, yes.
Should we introduce him?
Yeah, sure. That one actually isn't carnivorous. But
I know, but it's so cool.
Yeah, okay.
I asked Drew last time we were here, we were filming a YouTube video, and I was like, do you have a favorite plant? And I expected a species, and I thought you were going to talk about a species, and Drew came over here and he's like, yeah, this one.
Yeah, it's that one right there.
So cool. Tell me about that plant.
Yeah, so that's the bromeliad. It's a Neurogelia species, and I got it because it makes a really great a companion plant for dart frogs, for poison dart frogs. And so I've always been raising poison dart frogs since I was a kid too. And that one is just kind of stuck around in the collection for a really long time.
You can grab them.
Yeah, okay. I don't really know who this is, but you want to keep,
I'll take them
keep on talking while I'm back here.
If they're open. So he's had that plant since he was 12.
Yes, we are open, but our storefront is only open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Since he was 12, brought to college.
Right here, where you're at right here.
Sorry.
I would love to have you come through. We've got a live stream going right now in here. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. No worries. I would love to have you back. I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Thanks.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. So this plant you've had for how long?
Since I was 12 years old. So
that's amazing. Chad, can you imagine
28 years?
Can you imagine keeping a plant for that long? Keeping a plant alive for that long? That's crazy. Cool. And then these plants are ones that you guys probably know. This is a classic, right? Venus flytraps. Can you tell us about those? Drew?
Yeah, so fly traps are actually native to the Carolinas, so not that far from us.
Yeah.
They live in bogs alongside American pitcher plants and sundews. So they all kind of have this environment going on where they are getting water that's constantly moving through the ground around them.
Yeah.
And that water is leaching out all the nutrients. So like that's one thing about carnivorous plants that's pretty ubiquitous amongst all of them is they live in these low nutrient environments. So they've had to evolve to have adaptations to be able to acquire nutrients in ways that aren't typical of other plants. Mm-hmm. Right, so we get like fly traps, which anything that fits in the fly trap, they will close on and eat. I've got, fly traps or flies are the most common, but they get like lizards from time to time, like anything that's in there. And we'll show some bigger fly traps that we have in the back that get like a couple inches in size. And then we've got American pitcher plants here that it's kind of like a.
I didn't know they flowered like that. Are these ones that you talked about that have like the mechanisms for bees getting caught in them?
Yeah, exactly. So like these right here, this petal
so cool.
lifts up and they come in and you actually see the pollen grains right there. And so they're pollinated by bumblebees. And the bumblebees will hang out in the pollen, do their thing, and then exit. And it's actually evolved so that like whenever they come back in, to like the next flower, they'll actually go over the little stigmas right here. And you see this little bump right there? Hopefully we can zoom in on that. Maybe at a side angle.
Maybe?
Yeah, maybe in contrast with my finger.
Yeah,
you can see that little bump right there. That is actually the way that you pollinate them. So you just transfer the pollen onto that thing, that little bump. Mm-hmm. And then the ovaries are actually in here. Like there's this little area right there that's green that actually swells up. Like it swells up pretty big. And then like by like the end of the season, like in September, that would have like 500 seeds or more.
So cool. Yeah. Guys, we have so much to learn. So much to learn today. So I think you started and I either interrupted you or we started talking about something else. How'd you get started with carnivorous plants?
Oh yeah, so carnivorous plants, it was just really serendipitous, I guess. My brother was actually the first one that like got me into them.
Yeah.
And then he actually did some research when we were visiting my aunt, who's stationed in the Presidio area, like in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And there was actually a carnivorous plant nursery open to the public back then.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the nursery. It was a small nursery, like on the side of a vineyard, but I was like instantly enthralled, and like everything they had going on there, like it was just amazing, like mind blown. And we just Peter Miyamoto was the name of the founder of that nursery, and he wrote an awesome book called The Savage Garden. And you can still get that. That's still probably the best beginner's guide to carnivorous plants out there right now. Okay. It's called The Savage Garden. It's in its second edition. Mm-hmm. And so Peter was just like such he was such a quirky, awesome individual, very dry sense of humor. Fortunately, he passed away last year. But he was super supportive. We came back and visited Peter like a year later, and like he automatically he saw my book, like we had, and he took my book. He stole it like right away. He's like that's how it's supposed to be read. Because it was like tattered and torn and everything like that. And he's like, but I'm going to give you this copy. So he gave us a brand new copy and like signed it with like a very personal inscription and all that stuff.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Cool. So guys, right now we're in, oh my gosh, your corpse flowers over there.
Yeah.
We're in the storefront part. So this is where people come and purchase plants in person. That you guys are open on the weekends, right?
Yeah, so we're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday right now. 10 to 4 on Friday, 10 to 5 Saturday, 10 to 4 on Sunday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then if you guys do Command Carnivoro in the chat, it links you to their Instagram. So that's your CTA today, guys. You guys are going to follow the Carnivoro Instagram. Now, it's awesome.
And we also, we ship all around the country though. That's how we started, like before the storefront. That's the only way that we could connect to people really was like through our Instagram and then like sending plants out. But like now you can come and visit us at the store, and we'd also do shows from time to time too, like all around the country.
Yeah. Can we show them the corpse flower really quick? Just because we're in here? And you can tell them about it? Because I can't speak to any of this. I'm really going to I promise I'm going to get more well-versed in plants. I'm going to teach a bunch of people about plants. It's going to be awesome.
Okay, so see this thing right here? This is actually a single leaf. This whole thing right here And this is Amorphophallus titanum. That's the scientific name, also known as the corpse flower. This is the biggest inflorescence in the world. So like, it produces leaves until it's time to flower, whenever it gets like somewhere between like 7 and 10 years old. And then when it's time to flower, it will send out a giant inflorescence that's like 7 or 8 feet tall. So technically an inflorescence and the flower aren't the same thing. Inflorescence is like the whole flower structure, whereas like the flower is just like the flowery part with the petals and all that stuff. But this thing gets huge, and then it actually smells like a rotting elephant for 2 to 3 days, like whenever it's like fully developed, and then it just dies down. Like all that work for like, like 2 or 3 days, and then like it will die down, it will set seed, it will do its thing, and it will send up more growth, but then it'll be a couple years before it flowers again.
How old is this plant?
This one's probably about 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
We do have one in the back greenhouse that's about 10 years old, and that one's real close to flowering.
That's crazy. Yeah. So cool. What is that? It looks like an elephant.
This right here?
Yeah. Oh, it's pictured.
Yeah, these are pictures.
Cool.
Maybe this is a, no. This is a good example of a big Nepenthes.
Yeah.
Right here. It got a little beat up in the storefront, but like that's the white stuff right there. But like this right here is Nepenthes loei truncata. This is actually the biggest Nepenthes in the world in terms of size. It can get up to like 19 inches. And this one actually eats rats on a regular basis in our greenhouse.
Here?
Yeah.
Is this the one that produces like sweet stuff?
Yeah, it produces sweet stuff on the lid. This one is kind of developing still, and we beat it up a little bit, unfortunately, whenever we were transporting it. But it has these lid hairs, and there's sugars that get produced on the lid. The rats come and lick that, and then this is
fall down.
Yeah, and this is super slippery right here. This is like one of the most slippery surfaces on Earth.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
And
these ridges get really slippery.
These
too.
ridges, like these are like they've got like capillary action. So like you have one drop of water that like lands right there, it will fill out the entire thing, and then it's just like super slick.
Yeah. Wow. And so there's fluid like inside of there.
Yes.
That's digestive.
Yes. And so whenever it eats a rat, it's very nasty smelling fluid, but usually it's just fine. Not all carnivorous plants are going to smell like that. It's just whenever you kind of overwhelm them, like things that they don't necessarily eat all the time, they can smell a little bit.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're in the U.S., you can own one of these plants. Like you can purchase one of them from Drew and from Carnivoro online. Would you mind taking us on a tour? Do you want to walk around a little bit?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
We can talk about stuff as we go?
Yeah,
like last time?
Certainly.
Cool. I'll follow you.
Cool. All right.
They asked if it digests rat bones too.
Yes, so it takes a few months to do it, but it will break down everything, bones and all.
That's incredible. So cool, guys.
All right.
So cool.
Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
We're taking plants home today. Drew, what do you think of my idea of the googly eyes?
The googly eyes? I think it fits.
You get it. He gets the ambassador model. I explained it to him last time. You have to get people to really anthropomorphically connect to things, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're the most animal-like plants, right? It's like, oh, watch out. Yeah, there you go. They've got some of these animal characteristics like eating, moving, that sort of stuff that like it's really easy to kind of connect with carnivores versus other plants that are just kind of more stationary all the time.
You can go first. Follow you.
All right. So we are right here in our, this is our Highland greenhouse. So carnivorous plant species in the tropics often grow in different ecological niches. That's what I find so fascinating about them is like all these plants, like they are very unique, but they come from an environment that is unique as them, which has caused them to evolve over time into having their specific types of development, specific features, that sort of stuff. So this room that we're in right now, this is the Highland greenhouse. So this is like being on a tropical mountain at about 8,000 foot elevation. So this actually, we cool it down with air conditioning part of the year, just to make sure these plants stay happy and kind of living in the environment that they have evolved to live in. You can see the mist turning on here. This is just, it's the cloud forest effect.
So cool. It looks so cool on camera.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of species in here. Actually, this is a really good one to highlight. This is a hybrid that we made. Nepenthes truncata and Loei and macrophylla are all in here. These guys get pretty big and toothy, and they get.
Oh, the teeth are crazy.
The teeth are crazy, but then if you also look at the inside of the picture, it's really like iridescent in there. It's like it's
yeah.
You can tell it's waxy. But I definitely like to play with hybridization in here. Try to bring out traits that are really are really extreme, but then at the same time are easy to grow for people.
Yeah. Let's talk about the conservation part of things a little bit, because we haven't touched on that yet.
Yeah.
Can you tell them why breeding plants in captivity is important and about poaching and stuff like that?
Yeah. So I mean, carnivorous plants in general, they're the two biggest risks to their existence is habitat destruction. It's that's ubiquitous across a lot of both flora and fauna, but for carnivorous plants specifically, because they have these tight ecological niches, a lot of times there's not a very large population, and that can be very susceptible to poaching. So what we're trying to do here is conservation through cultivation. So we're trying to get some of the genetic material out from the wild in legal and sustainable ways, and then produce it here at a much larger scale. So we're able to offer that at prices that are really accessible to people, but will also discourage people from ever having to buy poached specimens. So we're talking plants. There are plants in environments that unfortunately are getting poached by the trash bag full, like on a constant basis.
Right.
And what we're trying to do here is take those plants, get them into our tissue culture lab, from seed or from cuttings, and then produce them in a sustainable way where it's very affordable, and then it's no longer economical for anybody to get anything from the wild.
Right.
And also they're just better plants. If we select for vigor, if we select for the traits that we want, they're just going to be better plants, easier plants for people to grow, and more attractive.
Yeah. Cool. We're going to see stuff about how they breed plants today, guys. There's so much cool stuff here. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Cool. You can get out of this. Sorry.
Cool.
Are you sure you're still standing?
No worries. So we've just entered a different room. This is our intermediate room. So this is being 3,000, 4,000 foot on a tropical mountain. It's still a lot of pitcher plants in here, just different species, different types. This room is kind of everything that grows in here is kind of more household conditions. So we use this room specifically to kind of prove out that it's going to be a good plant for people in their homes.
Look at all the little baby ones. They're so cute.
Yeah. These are baby Nepenthes.
Tiny. That's awesome. How fast do they grow? So are these the same? No.
Let's see. So this cross right here, this one's a little different. It's actually one of the ones that grows in that room over there, the Highland, with the one that grows in here. So what we're trying to do is create something that has those teeth. We'll show some good teeth later on, I think. And combine that with something that's super colorful and easy to grow.
Yeah.
And with that, then you get the combined characteristics.
You have so many cool colors too. This is gorgeous.
No,
and down there, that's crazy too. I don't remember seeing one like that.
Yeah, that one's purple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel I am not the most artistically inclined, but I feel
beautiful. I could not draw that.
It's kind of like art, in itself, right? The color patterns, the textures, all of that stuff is really amazing. This is a species called Nepenthes vogelii. This is from Borneo. And it's really cool because it's got such a cool color palette on these pictures, but then as it grows, it gets a different type of picture. These guys have actually evolved where they've got these lower pictures that are kind of
so cool.
That are kind of more low to the ground, and they actually they've got these wide lips or peristomes, but then they have these insect ladders right here. You can kind of see that right here.
Insect ladders.
These are actually for insects to climb up the pitcher. And like the pictures that are meant to be like on the ground, like actually here's a better example, right? Like this right here, like the insect would come and start to climb up, and then make it to the rim right here, and then fall into the pitcher, and then it's trapped. But then there's also examples of like upper pitchers, like say this one right here, that have no ladder, and it's like white in color. And the reason why this is that way is because this is targeting flying insects. It's got to a place where it's high in the canopy. It's not so likely that ground insects are going to be crawling up into it. So it just has evolved to be much more attractive to like wasps, bees, you know, flies, anything that could fly up there and get stuck in the pitcher.
Yeah. Cool.
So I got my favorite species over here, actually.
Oh, okay.
Step on one.
Oh, that happens all the time. So actually,
He's okay.
okay. So right here, this is actually interesting. We just got stuck on it right now. This is actually the tendril knot. So this is how they get up to the canopy whenever they're trying to flower. You can see this actually has tied itself into a knot right here, right? So they actually use this, like they reach out and they grab onto like foliage like all around, and they'll tie themselves into a knot so it'll support itself as it climbs to the top of the canopy.
It's crazy. So cool. So your favorite species? Oh my gosh, it's huge.
Yeah, man. This is Nepenthes veitchii right here. You can see these pictures. So this is like probably one of the most big flamboyant species out there.
Wow.
These guys are from the island of Borneo, both the Indonesian side and the Malaysian side.
Yeah.
They develop these huge pitchers that they use to trap prey, just like the other Nepenthes. But these just happen to get really big and colorful. So I love working with these guys for breeding. For both like hybrids and species work. It's one species where there was a lot of poaching happening for a long time around the certain locations where they grow, and I feel like we've actually curbed poaching just by being able to offer these at such a scale right now.
Yeah.
Where I'm noticing the numbers that are coming from that area are less and less.
Oh, that's so cool to feel like you're really a part of that.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, we're super proud of that. We're always trying to come up with new veitchii that will just grow faster and better for people, and is just more beautiful in their homes. So, like more people can experience it. There's also this other really cool form of veitchii. It's the same species, but like that one's kind of more like the ground hugging one. This one is like
it's huge too.
See, this one does something different. This guy actually, see how the leaves are like super hairy?
Yeah.
So these guys actually hug trees. They use like the hairiness of the leaves to like create friction so that they wrap themselves around so they can climb like all the way up. So like I've been in places in the jungle where these things are like 30 feet tall, like up the tree.
Yeah.
And like they're just like a small like thin tree, and they're doing their thing all the way up the top.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Some people were asking about like the rat. They were shocked by the rat thing that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And then they're asking if they produce their own liquid or if it's rainwater.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually their own liquid.
That's crazy.
So you can kind of see this one has the lid right here, right? So like this right here, that's actually like a rain cover for it. So it's not constantly getting yeah, it's its own umbrella, so it's not constantly getting flooded, because if you think about it, they would actually be diluting their pitcher juice if they let rain in all the time.
So when do these have liquid in them? These little ones?
They do actually.
What?
Even the little guys, you can get in there with like sometimes we just use like tweezers, and we'll put in like a cricket powder or like a fruit fly, and they'll digest it. So then,
the question that I asked you last time I was here, and I bet a bunch of them were wondering, if you stuck your finger in it or if it splashed on you, what happens?
Okay, so if it's got a lot of food in it, it might smell a little funky. Like we're talking like if it's filled all the way to the top. But otherwise, like if it splashes on you, it's not terribly abrasive, because they sense the chitin in the insect exoskeleton, and that's what actually causes them to activate and really drop their pH.
it just gets cooler and cooler.
Yeah, so I mean,
That's
you've got
incredible.
biochemistry going on in there. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. There's actually a lab in France that patented using pitcher plants to mass produce antibiotics. Because like if you think about it, there's so few like natural
They can target stuff.
Yeah, to like enclose a sterile fluid,
Right.
And to like have it grow and things like that. So the idea would be they would be like gene splicing, and like instead of digestive enzymes, they would be getting it to crank out like certain biological molecules for medicine.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Someone said earlier, they're like, Maya finds the coolest people with the most niche interests. Yeah. Yeah. Here we are.
Yeah, no. I
time-
mean, it's awesome because like that's why I love our team so much, and just like the community that we're trying to build here is just
Yeah.
because like it's a bunch of nerds that are just nerding out over like
Plant nerds.
yeah, really cool thing. I mean, plants, animals, the interactions, like
Yeah.
all that stuff.
This one is like closed, so I didn't realize that the lid's fully closed over them. Sometimes.
Well, this
Is that
one's
just
actually
young,
in
or-
development right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
like it's still growing. Whenever it's ready to open, like the lid will pop, and then it will activate like kind of like all the other traps here.
Cool.
So this I was mentioning though, like the thought is that if you could produce like medicine or something like that in here, it would be sterile until the lid popped.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, you can ask your questions. I'll relay them to Drew as we go. I told him that you know nothing about plants, so he's teaching us from the ground up.
So here's something that's really cool. So I mean, variegation throughout history has always been like a cool thing that people desire, right?
Yeah.
Like it actually doesn't benefit the plant. Like if you think about it, here's a variegated Nepenthes veitchii.
Variegated means what?
Variegated means there are areas in this plant that do not produce chlorophyll. That's the green stuff that's in plants. And so in this particular Nepenthes veitchii, there just so happen to be sections that that aren't going to produce that chlorophyll. So it actually will grow slower because, like, if you think about it, like part of the plant just isn't active, so
Right.
it's not doing its thing, right? But you know, throughout time, people have always felt like really compelled to like buy variegated stuff because it's like patterns, it's like art, like
Yeah.
on plants. So like right now, like a lot of the most popular plants out there are variegated, but even like throughout history, like this has happened. Like in the 16th century in the Netherlands, you guys ever heard of the Dutch tulip craze?
Yes.
So like literally like people were trading these variegated tulips as like currency,
So expensive.
but like they were more valuable than houses.
Yeah.
That like people were having like speculation like they were stocks and like that crazy stuff. So like, and it turns out it was actually a virus that was causing that.
Yeah, they're freaking out
Yeah.
because it's. They said the plant's throwing up. I think it just spilled. Some.
Oh, did it spill? Oh,
It's okay.
they do
chat.
that from time to time.
They're okay. He's okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll show we'll show some fluid in a while that's actually super viscous, that is meant to have like rain fall in and all that.
So some people do you have to feed them every day? What do they eat? How often do you have to feed them?
Yeah, so like I would say on a scale of like maybe like 1 to 10, like feeding them is probably like maybe like a 5 or a 6. Like they don't need it every day. Like usually like a bug a month, you know, like per pitcher or trap is really good to sustain the plant.
Oh wow. Okay.
But like carnivorous
Let's show.
plants are like masters of like just like doing the most with little. So like if they're not getting fed, they can kind of just go into like a stasis.
Go into a stasis.
Yeah. So they'll go into a stasis and they're just like, they won't grow super fast. Or they'll just recycle old nutrients from like lower on the stem or leaves
Yeah.
of like old plant parts.
And then Finn said, do we know how long these types of plants have been around for? Are carnivorous plants older than some other species of plants?
So they've evolved over millions of years. Some of them are actually quite ancient, like we're talking like pre-Gondwana separation. And so you can see that in kind of the radiative patterns, like in some areas that like they exist, like where there's like, they'll be like on two sides of an ocean, but that was like part of a supercontinent like millions and millions of years ago.
And then Adam said, are all carnivorous plants like these big bucket type ones? No.
No,
There's so much more to see,
we've got so
guys.
many more. We got so many more. We're barely like
I'm so
halfway through the
excited for
greenhouse.
these ones.
Yeah.
These are some of my favorite ones last
Okay.
time. The omnivores.
Yeah, the omnivores. Let's see. Let's find. This is a good spot to show, like an omnivorous omnivorous plant.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it's got a leaf already.
Oh,
there.
he's eating.
Okay. So this is Nepenthes ampullaria.
Sorry for anthropomorphizing your plants.
Oh no! I mean, I think it's awesome. I think that's why they're so cool, right?
Yeah.
So this guy has a few awesome things about it. It's the Nepenthes ampullaria. It grows like pretty much throughout most of Southeast Asia. It's actually even been found in Australia.
Okay.
This one has actually evolved to be an omnivore. So it started off like I'd imagine the route that it took it evolved for carnivory,
Yeah.
but then it actually found ecological niches like on the forest floor in these areas. It grows like generally like in warm areas, like kind of the room we stepped in. And so, like on the forest floor, it actually has no lid that blocks the water because it wants water to fall in, but it also wants leaf litter to fall in.
Yeah.
See that right here? So
Yeah.
it did it on its own. And in the wild, 70% of this plant's nitrogen comes from the leaf litter from other plants. Like, so it's digesting other plants in these pitchers.
It's a detritivore chat.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Like the isopods.
Yep, exactly. I mean, it's pretty cool that like it just lets bacterial and fungal action take care of it. So like it actually isn't producing the enzymes. It just like it lets other things take care of it. You know, like along the way. And the other thing that is so awesome about this plant it is actually the home to the world's smallest frog species.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah. So there's the world's tiniest little frog species spends its entire life cycle in these pitchers.
And that's like okay for the frog, isn't it? Breaking down stuff, it just doesn't break down the frog.
It doesn't. Well, these guys, you know, so they're leaf litter catchers, and like they're not actually producing as many enzymes and as acidic as a pH as some of the other pitcher plants. So it's actually much more neutral inside these. In fact, like
Cool.
I tell animal keepers will like say, oh, you can't keep carnivorous plants in like animal tanks, and I will recommend this one to them because it's pretty easy to grow in like a terrarium.
Yeah.
Because it likes it hot and humid, and I'll say like, look, it's not going to produce any enzymes to harm your frog or your lizard or something like that. So like you can give it a try.
So these plants are actually cannibals. I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Georgie's little buddy. Cool. Someone asked if it's okay to keep carnivorous plants like in a garden with other plants.
Definitely, but the thing is the soils are probably going to be different
Yeah.
because like carnivorous plants want like low nutrient soils with, and they also want water that doesn't have a lot of salts in it. So you can definitely keep it in a garden, but I would probably recommend keeping it in its own container,
Sure.
like soil container.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. What's up with this one? This
Oh,
stem.
the fuzzy stem right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, so that's actually a philodendron.
Oh, it's
So-
huge.
Yeah, so
my gosh.
these are not carnivorous. They're just really cool. I love growing them. In nature, like these, a lot of aeroids will host a lot of cool frog species and others like on the leaves. So like that's one of the things that attracted me to them the most. These are more like South American. This philodendrons are more South American, Central American species. And they have these really awesome flowers that only open at night. They're actually beetle pollinated. Strangely,
I love beetles.
and not only are they like beetle pollinated, but like they've got this funky thermogenesis, where they actually heat up. Like if you come in at night, like when the flower is like open and like starting to be receptive, you can feel it. Like it's like 20 degrees hotter than the ambient environment.
I've never heard of a plant being able to do that.
Yes, it's really
I
cool.
didn't know that was wow.
It's also really a pain in the butt, like trying to get them to pollinate because
Yeah.
they only open at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Have you done that?
I've tried.
Come out at 2
I
a.m.?
definitely. I had a Ring camera on it.
No way.
Yeah, I was just waiting for it to like fully open and like checking it like every couple hours. And yeah, I know it's like they're as bad as like a toddler. Like
Wow. Guys, reminder, that's such a crazy leaf, sorry.
Yeah.
We're with Drew at Carnivoro right now. You can do Command Carnivoro. If you want to go follow their Instagram, that would be sick. Also, if you're in these US, you can purchase these plants. They will get shipped to you. You can have one in your house, which is crazy. So cool.
yeah.
Okay. And today, the goal for today is to learn about plants, number one. Plant conservation. We have a couple gaps, I think, at Alveus that I would really love to start filling this year. That's marine conservation and plant conservation. Both massive. We talk a lot about animals, terrestrial animals and birds and stuff like that, but not a lot of plants and not a lot of ocean animals. So this year I want to do more of that. So today we're adopting a few plants to bring back to Alveus as ambassadors, and we're going to introduce them on our first collab this week on Thursday. So that's what we're here for, in case you just popped in. All right. Yeah, this is a crazy, it's just like this leaf is so, the structures are all so different. Like, look
Yeah.
at this, the way he's attached this leaf. So cool.
You see that white rim on it?
Yeah.
What do you think that's for?
I don't know, is it sweet or something?
It's actually not sweet.
What is
Strangely. These guys are termite traps.
Why do termites like that?
There's some chemical in that white stuff on the lip right there that attracts termites like crazy. So like you can find these in the wild with like entire termite colonies, like just overflowing in the pitcher.
Wow.
So they'll go through, they'll actually eat through the white stuff. So like it will be this species but no white stuff on it. And so these guys, that's their niche. They are termite attractors.
Some people are asking if they're toxic to pets. There are a lot of species.
No, they are not.
Oh, really?
So like, well, the aeroids are.
Okay.
Those have oxalate acid, but the carnivorous plants generally are not.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of info on the Carnivoro website, guys, by the way. There's like beginner's guides and care guides and all that.
Yeah. Let's see. What other ones could we highlight here? Oh, here we go. This one's one of my favorites.
Whoa, that's huge. What is up with the teeth?
The teeth, right? This is
Colton, you gotta
Nepenthes,
get a close up on that.
Nepenthes bicalcarata.
That is like a dinosaur. That's crazy. What the heck? It looks like it should be on a set for like an alien movie.
So those actually drip too. Like they don't look sinister enough. Like they actually drip with sugars.
Of course they do.
And these guys attract a lot of ants to them.
Oh my god.
These are native to peat swamps in Borneo.
Yeah.
They get really, really big, actually. This is one of the biggest species, like
Yeah.
eventually, right? Like they start out kind of small, like, but then like it took about 20 years, but we were one of the first ever nurseries to flower male and female plants.
Oh,
Because
cool.
Nepenthes are something called dioecious. There's male and females.
Yeah.
So this is our big girl. She has actually flowered all the way up to the rafters. You can kind of see like the old stem right here. It did die away.
Yeah.
But it took the better part of,
this plant?
yeah, this right here.
What?
Yeah, that right here. This
That-
big old stem.
That's like strapped up there?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the same plant.
We had it strapped
Sure.
up to the ceiling, and
Oh
it actually flowered for us a couple seasons in a row and produced a
Wow.
bunch of seeds. So we've got a lot of little guys right now.
That's incredible.
But we were able to create a bunch of seed. We were super happy about that because, again, that's one that has like a small ecological niche. So there's not a ton of them out there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Crazy. I feel like I'm seeing all new stuff and I was just here. Like everything looks different.
I mean, it changes all the time, right? They grow.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing.
Look at this one is so crazy looking. Look at the colors on it. I always like don't want to touch them. That is beautiful. Wow. So cool. So when did you build these greenhouses?
Oh, so this greenhouse is about 9 years old.
Okay.
So I was working in tech, and I always wanted to do this. Like this
Yeah.
is like I wanted to do something around these plants for conservation work, and just like spreading the message about like what these plants are like, what they do, like the environments that they're from. So I quit my job at Google. I bought this property, like my wife really wanted to move out to Texas. She's the Texan. And so spent the better part of a year, just building this greenhouse, like from the ground up.
Yeah.
I had to be really scrappy at the time. So it actually got trucked down from Indiana. So this used to be a Palmer True Value greenhouse. And we took all the metal and and fans and things like that. And we just brought it back here and repurposed it. It was me for the most part. One of our longest staff member here, Jesse, came out for like a couple like spring breaks and like summer breaks, and then my dad came out for a few weeks to help me get it up. But
Wow.
then for the most part, it's just me like hammering away.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then after that, like we started to build our team, which has been phenomenal. Just like the community of expertise that we have of people here. So we've got, maybe we'll run into them right now on the tour. They can introduce, a lot of them are very camera shy, so we'll.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
This one, I'm falling into the variegated trap.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
I haven't seen is that a variegated pitcher? Technically,
That's actually the omnivore that we were showing back
no
there.
way.
That is Nepenthes ambularia. That's a variegated form.
It looks like they're clinging onto the leaves. So cute. Okay, cool. Let's see. Somebody asked, what ecological niche carnivorous plants serve? Like, are they pest control in nature?
I'm not sure if they are pest control. They definitely do get quite a bit of the pests.
Yeah.
It's more, I would say it's more purposeful in that the plant is just trying to get as many nutrients as it can that were not available in the soil originally.
Got it.
Yeah,
Cool.
So it's trying to do that, and by doing so, I'm not sure there's so many areas where they take out like entire populations of things or actually keep them in check. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, should we keep moving, or is there more?
Yeah, we can keep on moving to the next greenhouses.
Okay, I'll follow you.
Yeah. Oh, the bat one. Do you want to show the bat one?
Yes.
Okay, the bat one. Yeah, that one's cool. All right.
Come back.
Sorry,
No, it's
we
okay.
forgot about the bat one.
No, they love it. Whatever you want to show us.
Okay. Oh, it's got a good big picture too. Okay, so this one is Nepenthes hemsleyiana, and this one is actually a bat home. That's what it's evolved to do in nature. And this guy, you can see it's got a hip right here, and that just happens to be the perfect shape for a bat species in Borneo that only lives in these pitchers. So it finds a pitcher. This lid is actually the perfect parabolic reflector for sound, for the bat's kind of echolocation.
Yeah.
So it will find the pitcher, and then it will roost in here overnight. It gets protection.
What
the bat gets protection.
Cozy place to
I know,
sleep on.
right? It's like. And it actually produces a lower amount of pitcher fluid than other Nepenthes species. That's so the bat isn't harmed with the fluid. It's able to hang out in here, and then the bat will poop, throughout its stay, and it will get those nutrients from it.
That's so cool. That's so interesting.
I mean,
Guys, did you understand everything he just said? Like this bit, so they echolocate it, what bounces off of there, I guess, for lack of better phrasing, so they can find it easier, and then the bats sleep in there, and when the bats sleep in there, they poop in there, and they fertilize that plant. That is so special.
And it's crazy, like the way that it's evolved. It's shaped just perfectly because I have some friends that were on a research project where they actually did some swap arounds. So there's other pitcher plants that live in that environment, and they actually did like they made like Frankenstein pitchers. Like they cut off the lid and they put that like on top of this pitcher, and then they took this lid and they put it on another type of pitcher, and they were able to prove that it is actually like the shape of the lid that will allow them to locate.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What a cool project.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, like there's so much more research to be done. Like a lot of these plants, there's just like a bunch of unknowns that like there's hypotheses, but we just don't know exactly like what the function is for some of these plants.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. They said I'm getting sold on pitcher plants. Freaking cool.
Cool. Why don't we go to the other greenhouse now? We can show the propagation greenhouse, but then also we got a whole bunch of different type of plants over there.
Okay. Awesome. Guys, what do you think? Is there a reason so many pitcher plants come from Borneo? They asked.
It's definitely the center of biodiversity, but there's also a lot of pitcher plants in Sumatra and also the Philippines.
Okay.
Like that would probably be the top 3 destinations for plants, at least for Nepenthes.
Someone said, OMG, I've been wanting to go to Carnivoro. Yeah, they're open on the weekends now.
Yeah,
so you can
definitely
go.
come by.
I'll follow you.
All right. All right, cool. So we've got different plants in here.
Yeah, these ones are cute.
Yeah. So we've got, right here we've got an American pitcher plant. So these guys are actually native to Texas.
Yeah.
There's plenty. Actually this species over here that's native to Texas, but
It's so crazy.
yeah, but it isn't fully opened up yet. This is native to Mississippi and Alabama and Florida. This is Sarracenia leucophila, and this trap is a really cool design. Evolutionary path. It actually produces plenty of like nectar along the different parts of the pitcher, so that attracts things. They smell kind of sugary, like nice perfumey. And then also they've devised a Chinese finger trap strategy. Like whenever insects go down here, they actually have these hairs that point down. And so once they get low enough, it's very difficult for them to get back out.
That is a nightmare shape, even not knowing that bit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so by the end of the season, this thing will be filled up, like all the way up here with insects. They're really good at what they do.
Wow.
They're actually really easy to grow too. Like you can grow those outside year round in almost any place in the U.S.
Cool.
Yeah, and really easy to grow. They just want to be wet. That's the trick.
Yeah.
They want lots of light and good quality water that's low in salts. So like rainwater or reverse osmosis water or distilled, or you can even hook up like your AC condensate if you live in a hot place, and like that's actually super pure water as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then these little guys.
These
cute.
guys are sundews.
Chat, you might know about these. I feel like people know about Venus flytraps and sundews.
Oh, yes. So these guys right here have these sticky leaves, and they will attract insects to them. They get stuck, and then they will actually. This species right here will slowly move over time and like curl itself around to increase the surface area so it can digest it like more efficiently.
So cool. And they get pretty big. Are those sundews over there?
These are actually butterworts.
Oh yeah, no, I have one of those at home.
Yeah. So these guys are Mexican butterworts. They actually have evolved to live on the limestone cliffs in central Mexico, and they have these sticky leaves. You can't really tell them that they would be carnivorous unless you felt them.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of sticky, buttery, and these guys are really good at like catching fungus gnats. Like small flies and mosquitoes. You actually see, let's see if we can find mosquitoes stuck around here. I see a few small ones. There you go.
Cool.
It's kind of cathartic to see that. And these guys are actually really good, easy to grow as houseplants as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. Those flowers.
Yeah, I know, and they flower constantly. Like they flower year round. A lot of people just enjoy them for their flowers, and then the carnivorous plant part of them is the bonus.
They said adding to shopping cart. You may actually, I forgot about your online orders. You might get a lot of online orders today.
That would be really cool.
That'd be awesome. You gotta get a little plant.
Yeah.
So
this one's cool. It's kind of.
What is it called? That's a Mexican butterwort?
Mexican butterwort or pingüicula. Pingüicula is the name, or we call them pings for short.
Cool.
This is another sundew.
Ooh.
I just think this one has a really cool pattern to it.
Yeah.
This is actually a tuberous Drosera from the Australian desert. You can see it's got a mosquito right there. Not desert, but it's like Southwest Australia around like Perth area. And these guys have actually evolved to go dormant in the summer.
Oh, he's got a bug on it. Can I give him a close-up?
Oh, yeah. So these guys actually die down to tubers, like whenever it's hot and dry in the Australian summer, and they become carnivorous just during the winter.
Oh, how weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
He's eating. They're so pretty. They look like a Dr. Seuss plant. So this is all the droplets. It's not water. It produced those.
Yeah, no, they're produced by the plant. It's sticky mucilage, and like once they get stuck, they're actually quite strong. See that? It's like,
yeah,
it'll like pull itself over.
You guys see that? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Let's see some other type of. Like we just want to talk about plants today, right?
Yes.
Like not just carnivores, but we got all kinds of stuff around here.
Whoa, that Venus flytrap, I've never seen them flower.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
I didn't know they did all that.
So this guy woke up a little early because we've got it in the greenhouse. This is a Venus flytrap. These guys usually flower about May, June. And you can kind of see they've got these big white flowers right there. And they're actually really easy to pollinate. Like they've got pollen that's really easy to transfer from like the center, like that has the pollen to like the stigmas on the outside. And if you do that, they'll make like probably about 100 really coarse black seeds. And you know, they take about 4 or 5 years to get from a seedling to maturity.
Is that a banana?
That is a banana, yes.
Awesome.
That's an ice cream banana right there.
What does that mean?
It's just like a blue Java banana. Like I've actually never had the fruit yet. That's why I'm growing it.
Yeah.
Like it will taste like ice cream at the like whenever we get it up there.
Guys, one day our banana trees will look like that. Don't worry.
And I guess show them like a really big fly trap. Like this isn't the season for huge traps. Usually it's like around like late season that they'll get the biggest ones. But you can kind of see like this guy. I don't know. It's probably about 2 inches.
They
trap
asked
size.
if it can bite your finger off.
I don't know about that, but it can. Well, I definitely get a lot of screams about that. Like whenever like people like put their finger in, and like you think you could show them the traps or like the trigger hairs on the traps? Cool, you got a really good camera here. Okay, so like the way a Venus flytrap senses it needs to close is it has 2 hairs that need to get triggered at the same time. So you can kind of see this one right here. There's like 3 lined up. And the reason it wants 2 hairs to get triggered and not just like 1 is because sometimes when it's raining, you would not want the traps to always be closing because it actually takes quite a bit of energy for the plant to do that. So like I'm gonna show you. I'll take one of our labels right here, and I will show you. So I just touched 1. See, that was nothing. Now I'm gonna touch 2.
Oh my gosh. That is so fast.
Yeah. They operate really quickly. And so what they'll do is they'll usually like take a week or 2 to digest their prey, and then they'll open back up again. They can do that like 2 or 3 times. By the 3rd time, like they'll kind of like they'll die back, and you can kind of see like this is the old growth, but that's fine because it's producing new growth. Oh, this one was, so I went on 93.7 Austin, like their morning show last week.
Yeah.
And we actually fed this one brisket.
Oh, wow.
It's still digesting. I actually thought it was going to rot away really quickly. Yeah. Because they don't really do great with like a lot of fat and protein.
Right, yeah.
But it's still going.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so.
Tiny little baby sundew.
Oh yeah, yes. I mean, there's hundreds, if not, I don't think there's quite 1,000, but it's close to the species of sundews out there.
It's cute.
And there's all types. There's tiny ones. There's actually some called pygmies.
Yeah.
And they're just like little bitty ones, like not even an inch big. And those are from Australia. But then all the way up to like really big sundews that like have like kind of, I don't know, like they'll produce. Like this is essentially like all one plant right here, right? So like it produces leaves. Like it just spread on the ground.
Guys, imagine being a fly trying to like traverse.
Yeah, you would not have a good day if you were a fly or a wasp or something trying to traverse this.
Wow, that's awesome. Are these baby corpse flowers?
Those are baby corpse flowers, yes.
Wow, how cool.
So you can produce those through seed or through cuttings.
Oh my gosh, there's a bunch of them.
Yep.
Wow, cool.
We do quite a few. We do quite a few different species here.
That's awesome.
Oh, this one's, this is just a cool, different looking plant.
That's alive?
Yeah, this is a Tillandsia.
Oh my gosh.
So this is an air plant. Not carnivorous, but but still really cool. These guys just live off of the humidity in the air.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even think this ever gets watered. It's just kind of humid in here from time to time, and it just keeps on going.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are those easy to keep as houseplants?
Extremely easy.
They don't need
yes.
water, huh?
Yeah. They're called Tillandsias.
Awesome. Tillandsias.
And they've also got really beautiful flowers too. All right.
Crazy.
Oh, watch the ladder right there. Let's see. And then so now we're getting into our aroid section.
Okay.
And so these, like, this is an anthurium. They just have really cool big leaves. I love them. Like this one's native to Colombia.
You got some crazy roots behind you.
Oh yeah. Oh, the ones coming down right here?
Yeah.
So this is our orchid collection right here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so these are Vanda orchids, really beautiful. Let's see, we actually have all the ones with flowers in the other greenhouse right now. But you can see that they grow really well. Like they don't even need soil. You can actually just put them in a pot like this and just make sure they're getting misted like once a day, and they'll grow just like that, just fine.
Yeah, that's nuts.
All right, and you can see, we're getting into more aeroids.
Pretty.
We'll go over here.
Do they grow the food for all these plants?
Do we grow the food for all these plants?
I think they mean like, do you breed crickets and stuff?
I mean, I do fruit flies, and we feed them to like our most sensitive plants. But then if there's a plant we really want to grow fast, we'll do cricket powder.
Cricket powder.
So like you can get cricket powder. It's just like similar to like flour, like as a flour substitute, and then we'll put that into the pitchers. And then the other thing is just fertilizers. Like a lot of times you can just substitute like fertilizers for like where they would usually eat like animals.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Guys, reminder, if you're just coming into the stream, we're at Carnivoro, which is a carnivorous plant nursery with Drew, who's the owner. And we are learning about plants, and we're going to adopt some plant ambassadors for Alveus today so that we can introduce them at the collab on Thursday. And you can follow Carnivoro's Instagram, Command Carnivoro, right now. And if you're in the US, you can purchase a plant and they'll ship it to you. So you can have a carnivorous plant in your home, which is so cool. Right,
Let's see. Oh, how about I show this one off? This is not carnivorous, but I love these things because like you see the cool color pattern on it. Like if you
oh yeah, cool.
If you go at different angles, there's a different sheen to them. So this is an anthurium, and they have these leaves that are kind of velvety. You know, you kind of feel that texture right there.
Yeah, that's cool. It feels like an ear.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but there's function to like why they're velvety like that. These guys actually have like tiny like micro lenses in like on these parts of the leaf. It's because they're from the understory, and it stays so wet there. They want to figure out a way to shed the water off of their leaves. So that this is just how they've evolved. And so they've got these like kind of like little mountains, like, and it's able to keep the water off the leaves instead of it accumulating and then causing disease, like fungal infections and those sort of things.
Wow.
And it just so happens those lenses have really cool optical effects. So that's why people like them, because they get the cool shimmers and different color patterns and all that stuff as they develop.
Cool. We just walked past your big corpse flower. People, People love corpse flowers.
Yeah, we even got a corm. So they develop these corms, and so like in between flowers, like they'll die down to something like this, and this is actually a big old plant right here.
What?
Yeah. This it just died down to the corm for now.
Wait, so where does that come from? What is that?
Okay, so these are from Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah, so Sumatra in particular, like island of Sumatra, and they have evolved to have a gigantic stinky flower.
Yes.
Yes. So this is I don't know, it's probably about 10 feet tall right now. This is the foliage part of the corpse flower, but probably next year this thing's going to die down to a corm like that. It will be much bigger. It'll probably be like, I don't know, probably like 5-10 times the size of this one. And then whenever it comes up again, it's going to have a gigantic flower that's like 7 or 8 feet tall, and it's going to smell like a dead elephant for like 2 or 3 days.
Wait, so this, like this whole plant will die and then become this?
Yeah. So this is where all its energy is stored. It's like this is essentially like a potato.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a bulb.
Yeah, it's like potato plants. Like if you look at a potato plant, like during its growing season, it's got a leafy part too, and so it's just using the potato part of it to store all the energy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. I told him he's got to get his Twitch live stream going if he has a corpse flower bloom. People love that.
We definitely will.
Yeah.
We definitely will. Yeah.
Cool.
So like this is like again, like more part of the non-carnivorous section. Like this is a monstera. These are kind of cool. Like they've got the holy leaves that they've evolved, and there's a few different theories on why they've done that, but I don't like one is that like when insects like already see them like eaten up, like they're not targeting them. But then the other reason too is like the leaves don't get as heavy when they've got the holes in them. So like it's not as much as like a sail.
Yeah, that's cool. Are there human? Okay, two different questions.
Yeah.
One was, if a carnivorous plant was big enough, would it eat a human? And the second one was, are there any edible carnivorous plants for humans?
Oh, those are really interesting questions. So, is there one big enough to eat a human? So the biggest one that I showed earlier, like I took pictures of that one when it was like in full form, like whenever my daughter was born. And it was about the same size as her, so I think that's probably the closest it would get. But I don't think I don't think that would work out. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if somebody's looking for one for like take care of their ex or something. Like probably not the right way to go yet. And then are there any edible carnivorous plants? Actually, Nepenthes ampullaria, the one you like so much, the omnivore, that one they actually use to cook rice. Like the native peoples have used that to cook rice. So I was actually on an ethnobotany project where we went around the markets throughout all of Borneo, trying to find a group of native people that still use that. And we were actually able to find one like right outside of Kuching. That's one of the bigger cities on the island. In the area of Bao. And so I had to go, but one of my research partners on that one, she authored the paper and everything, her name's Rachel Swallier, she actually got to sit down and have a meal with. How do they
cook rice with them?
It's like a glutinous rice. Am I saying that right? Glutinous. And then they add some stuff, some spices and things like that into the pitcher, and then they'll actually steam it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well.
Yeah. So not fully edible, but people are still using it. They'll use like the vines for ropes and things like that too, because it's really strong. So here's our seedling area. So we got a ton of pitcher plant seedlings here.
Baby plants, everybody. Little baby plants. Any plant recommendations for someone who has killed every plant they've ever owned, even a cactus?
I mean, I would say the definition of a master plant grower is somebody who's killed more plants than anybody else.
You're on your way.
Yes. So you're well on your way.
An air plant?
Yeah.
Maybe you wouldn't kill an air plant.
Yeah, no, I think an air plant would be a great one. I mean, it's all about like finding like what's going to work for you and your house.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people that grow like cacti and things like that is because they don't like the water.
Right.
So but they've got a sunny spot in their yard that doesn't get too cold. So like that would be a route to go. Like with the carnivores, like they like a lot of sun and they like to be wet all the time. So I actually find some people like growing some of the bog plants like fly traps and American pitcher plants, because the only thing that they have to think about is like filling the tray with water. That's it. Like fill it with distilled water and then you do nothing else, and and it's gonna be happy.
The water is important for them, and I know you mentioned that earlier, but if you guys are purchasing plants online right now, and I know you have care guides, can you tell them about the water they need to use?
Yeah. So the water, they've evolved to live in these environments that have naturally little salts in the soil, so they don't want salts. Like you definitely would not want to plant them in Miracle-Gro or something like that, because like the fertilizing and salting, like fertilizers have salts in them, right? So like you want to use like low nutrient soils. We actually sell the soils on our website, so like people don't have to think about that. But also like you could just get like basic peat moss, not fertilized peat moss, but like basic peat moss or basic like long fiber sphagnum moss, or they call it orchid moss in the stores, and like perlite, just like really basic ingredients that are like low salts. And then whenever you water them, you'd want to use something that also is low in salt. So distilled water, rainwater, or reverse osmosis water are the best.
Yeah, but not tap water.
Not tap water. And well, there are places that you can get away with that. Like you can actually check your local, your city water, and there's some places like in a lot of California, they get like mostly snow runoff. So you can actually use tap water. for that. Like Pacific Northwest is like another good spot. There's spots along the Northeast as well. Just like Texas is kind of, we have a lot of limestone here. There's like the water has to travel really far away. So by the time it gets to most places people live, it gets kind of salty. So not the best for carnivores.
So if someone, there are people that are buying plants. If someone bought it, put it in their house, if they put like a jug outside and it rained, that could be their water supply for the plant?
Yes.
Cool.
Yep, definitely.
Can I show them? Can I pull this out?
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
show them?
definitely.
I just want them to see all of these. Look at them. There's so many. So when this gets bigger, I assume most of these just die off and it ends up with a couple pictures? Or is this going to turn into a bunch?
Remember I was telling you about them being masters of nutrient
They eat each other?
No. They actually, like, see, look at how overpopulated like this tray is right here, the seed flat. Well, the thing that we found with carnivores is they'll just take what we give them. So, like, we have, like, some of these carnivores, like, look at this thing. Like, look at how big it is.
Yeah.
It's just cool chilling with, like, not that much soil.
Yeah.
It's just making do, and then whenever we up pot it, they just explode.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah. So, like, they're really good at, like, if they don't have a lot of nutrients, they'll just take nutrients from the old leaves.
Yeah.
That's just how they roll.
Cool. People were really interested in these butterworts.
Oh, yeah.
Because you said mosquitoes, I assume.
Oh, yeah. No, these are...
Oh, yeah, that one's got a bunch.
Oh, yes. Check
Check
that
him
one
out. Whoa. Yum. Those flowers are beautiful. The first time I saw these when I walked in here, I've just never seen a plant that looks like that.
Yeah, they're really unique. And, you know, they're kind of, it's like a carnivorous succulent.
Yeah.
And they're really easy to grow, too.
Beautiful.
And
Can confirm, Drew sent me home with one of these. 2 of them, actually, and they're both still alive. And I kill all plants.
Awesome. See, you know, I mean, I think carnivorous plants have a bad reputation of being hard to grow, and they are not necessarily hard to grow.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to get the right varieties and figure out what's going to work for you. This is actually one of my favorite ways to grow these.
Cool. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty.
Check it out. So this is a big old piece of limestone.
Yeah.
And like one of my favorite things to do is I've got 2 young daughters. When we go on hikes, I say, find the limestone that has all the holes in it. And it occupies them so much. And then also like they'll pull up the limestone and they'll like find like scorpions and centipedes and all kinds of cool stuff that they can like learn about. So we'll find a piece of limestone like this and then we'll clean it off and we'll plant pinguicula on it. And they naturally grow in limestone in the wild. So it's perfect. Yeah. They just take off.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine putting a plant in there and thinking it would do well. That's so cool.
Yeah, no, it's just finding the right niche for the plants.
Someone asked, why are there fans on the plants?
So this greenhouse is super humid. So we like to keep good air movement going, especially like on the pinguicula. So we're actually trying to like dehumidify it in a way. Like these guys are so good at like living in a house, like that type of humidity. That's what they want, and that's actually where they grow best. Like we actually have all our breeders in like a room that is just like room, like generally just room conditions.
Cool. So many little baby plants. Cool. Oh, they're so cute. A little guy. That's awesome.
We love that variety. That's one of the best beginner varieties. It's called Nepenthes Bill Bailey.
Okay. Bill Bailey.
Bill Bailey, actually, he's older, right? So he's a famous British comedian who actually has done a lot of work for conservation.
Oh.
He's a member of the IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature. He is actually the sponsor for the Chameleon Group.
Cool.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, so he's good friends with another Nepenthes nursery, carnivorous plant nursery that specializes in Nepenthes in Sri Lanka, and so they're good friends, and so they named him after Bill.
They all know him, but they didn't know that about him.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean
it's named after him.
It's really cool. Like that, there's so many people that are involved in like nature and conservation and other ways.
Last time.
I mean, I'd imagine there's so many people that want to get involved too and just don't know where to start, right?
Right,
like,
yeah.
You know, like, it's...
Lots of babies in there.
Okay, so this is the tissue culture hardening room.
Cool.
So there's a lot of babies in here because we've got a tissue culture lab, which I'm going to show you guys. But like post tissue culture lab, they need kind of a very more soft environment to get ready to to grow in the greenhouse.
Cool.
So we keep this room like near 100% humidity. And we wait for them to put out like a leaf or two before they're able to acclimate to the greenhouse.
Cool. You were involved with the IUCN too, right? Or what was your capacity?
There's actually for IUCN, there's subgroups for like every specialty, right? And so like I'm involved in the carnivorous plant specialty group.
Yeah.
And so I'm a conservation coordinator with them. So like we do various projects like involved in conservation for carnivorous plants.
Cool.
We also will do like assessments that happen about every 10 years just to like gauge like how endangered a particular plant species is.
Guys, IUCN, so when you learn that they're threatened or they're endangered or they're et cetera, IUCN is the one that makes that classification.
Yes.
Determines that classification.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of scientists that work really hard just to like to thoroughly assess populations so that we can really get a good idea of like what their status is and like what needs to be done to preserve them and how to work with like international and domestic government.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All
So
right,
yeah, this is a very special room.
I like this room.
Okay.
It's so cool.
So I mentioned that I'm an engineer by training,
yes.
physicist. So this was a fun room to design because
Okay.
it took all those skills. So this is actually like 4 inches of closed cell foam insulation.
Okay.
And even the floor is insulated.
Yeah.
So this room is for the montane species of carnivorous plants. Like lots of carnivorous plant species will just grow in your house. These are not those. These ones want montane conditions, so they want like being on a tropical mountain. They want like bright light but highly humid, 75 degrees during the day, and then like around 50 at night.
Cool.
And so that's what this room has. And so some of the plants that have the most extreme adaptations live in this room.
Okay.
So why don't we take a look at a toothy guy right
Oh,
here.
they're so cool. Look at this.
All right, so this right here is Nepenthes
That is so crazy.
edwardsiana. So Nepenthes edwardsiana is native to Sabah. That's it's like northeastern Borneo.
Yeah. Are these sharp like these teeth?
Well, give it a try.
Oh my gosh, they are. It feels like a needle, guys. That's crazy. And these are tall ridges. These are also sharp.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, like a knife.
So nobody really knows what those are for. Like there's some hypotheses out there, but it grows in such a remote location. It's really difficult to actually study that.
Yeah.
So like definitely an area for future work. This is one of those species that's actually quite endangered, and it's been targeted for poaching to a very high amount lately. So our goal is to grow up big plants and being able to provide stock for our tissue culture lab from seed. So we're able to make these a lot more affordable and available for everybody. And so it can kind of curb that poaching as well, just like we've done with like Nepenthes beechii, Nepenthes truncata, and some of these other species we were showing.
Sorry for asking you to repeat stuff all the time. There's new people all the time. So poaching for plants.
Yeah.
They understand poaching for animals is like for skins and for horns and for trinkets and stuff like that. For plants, it's that people want house plants, right? Or you want to tell them?
Yeah. So I mean, it's for various reasons. Like I think there are some carnivorous plants that people were harvesting for medicines.
Sure.
But for the most part, like there's a rare plant trade.
Yeah.
And carnivorous plants are some of the most iconic species out there. People are harvesting them for to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they don't. These guys have such a limited range. Like we're talking like we're in this room right here that's meant to emulate a mountaintop on a tropical mountain, and a lot of these species grow on one mountain. They grow on one mountain. Like literally, we're talking like a few square miles maybe of like habitable space for them. So like. Like a single poaching event or two poaching events, like of people going out there with black trash bags, could literally take out the entire population.
Yeah.
In fact, right here, this is Nepenthes rigidifolia, and this is it's a sad story right now. We're hoping to curb this. This is extinct in the wild.
Wow.
I was on one of the last surveys. There was 2 baby plants about 10 years ago in the original site locale, and then not long after we visited, those were gone as well.
Yeah.
This is extremely endangered. We have this plant right here. This is one of the few specimens in cultivation. It came from a tissue culture lab in Malaysia that does do conservation work there. But we're working to breed this thing, with collaborators to hopefully create more seeds so we get more genetic diversity. Because right now it's like there's nothing left in the wild. Yeah.
So then the goal with maybe I've talked to you guys about this with insects before, because this is a problem with bug poaching. If you get really good at breeding these plants in captivity, you'll have so many of them that there will be no demand for poaching, right? People can purchase them for their houses, and then you reduce the demand for poaching. And then is the goal eventually reintroduction? Like if you're getting all this genetic diversity, you could bring back up there, or is there nowhere for them to go?
No, I mean, they're often, especially the ones that have been poached out, like those habitats are still intact.
Yeah.
They are prime for reintroduction, and that has been done.
Cool.
There are some projects in the works right now, like International Carnivorous Plant Society, for example, is working with one actually natively in the U.S. Where there are reintroductions in our plant.
Cool.
Yeah.
Last time you showed us these, I don't remember the name, I just remember they're like toilet plants.
Oh, yes. Okay, so right here.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So this is the Nepenthes jambon, which in Bahasa Indonesia means toilet. And you notice how like the lid right here, it's got some sugary stuff right there that it's showing off, but also it's not really functional as like a rain blocker. And that's because this has evolved to have such thick digestive fluid that the rain actually goes above the fluid. So we're gonna watch it drool right now. Oh, here it goes.
It's crazy. Dude, these plants are like not real. It's crazy.
So this one actually will catch flying insects, and then that is their fate right there.
Wow.
So there's other ones that have really cool characteristics. This one over here, oh my. Okay. We have actually had a little bit of a rodent problem in this greenhouse.
Oh my God.
So this one, it used to be full of sugar all the way up here, but the rodents are actually doing their thing, and they're coming to lick right here. So you can you can see the white stuff right there on the top of the lid.
When we were here, it was like, it looked like a handful of snow in that lid. Like there was so much white stuff.
Yeah.
And it's sweet, and then the little rat goes and licks it all up like a snow cone, and then slip and slides down in there.
I love that, like a snow cone. Well, yeah, so these guys actually are toilet shaped for a reason. So they've evolved to have this relationship with tree shrews in the wild, where they'll lick the lid and then they'll poop into the pitcher. And so the ones in nature have skid marks all over the pitchers. And the rain will come down, it will wash the excrement down at the bottom of the pitcher, and then it will use that just like regular plants use manure in the soil. It will use that to grow. So it's a clever way for it to produce sugars, which plants produce just from sunlight, water, and air, and turn that and trade that into nitrogen, which they can't get, or have a very difficult time getting in the soils in their environment.
There's a tiny little bit of sugars on this one, Colton.
Oh yeah, that one's more sugary.
Yeah. Carefully, guys. There's cords and plants everywhere, Colton's. I wish I could grow up to be a toilet. Well, yeah. Can you see the white stuff in there? Like all the little white dots. Yum. Toilet plant. Look at, these are huge. Drew, wow. Oh my gosh.
That's one of the hybrids we've created. That's this toothy guy right here crossed with a stripy guy.
Yeah.
And you can see like it grows really fast.
I like those common names.
Yeah.
Toothy guy with the stripy guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to show this one off. This one is near and dear to my heart. So this is Nepenthes mollis. And there's some other pictures down here that might be a little easier to show
pretty.
on camera.
That's a crazy, beautiful plant.
So
That one might be easier.
this one's easier? Okay. So this one has developed a symbiotic relationship with a Bornean bush frog, which we actually discovered on one of our expeditions. We were out there, we were taking pictures of the pictures, and I kept on seeing these little green frogs that were jumping back into the picture, and then we realized there was actually tadpoles in the pictures too. So these guys, it's called Phalaenopsis nepenthicola, that spend their entire life cycle in the picture right here. And this is actually one that produces a lot of acid. So they've actually developed like resistance to the acid that's in the picture. It's pretty awesome. So like this was a really cool discovery. We went out, we found it, and then we referred over to it was like citizen science, honestly, in this case, because like I love frogs, but I am not an expert in any of the taxonomy or anything like that. So we went and contacted some herpetologists who didn't know what they were talking about in terms of like frog classification and all that. And within a few years, they had described a new species.
Cool.
Actually, speaking of citizen science, I want to show another species over there that was discovered just that way.
Chat loves citizen science, right, guys? They're citizen scientists.
So this is Drosera magnifica. This is a Brazilian species, and so this species was actually discovered on Facebook.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so there's a Brazilian scientist named Fernando Rivadavia who has discovered most of the sundews from South and Central America, and this one in particular was from this mountain peak and the picture got circulated on Facebook. Fernando and his crew went out there, found the mountain peak, found the plants, and this was actually the botanical find of the year, for all plants that year. Cool. And this is one of the largest sundews. It's one of those ones that has sticky leaves, like we were talking about earlier. And this guy gets actually pretty big. Like this isn't full size. This will get about like yay big, like probably like over a foot tall per leaf. It's a really awesome species.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And so we've got a bunch more sundews around here. They come in so many different sizes and forms. It's hard to get your head around all of it. Like this is another Brazilian form. This one's actually pretty easy to grow. That's Drosera gramigolensis. This one's from South Africa, actually from the Fynbos floristic region. That's one of the most rich areas for plant biodiversity on the planet. There's so many little ecological niches. There's actually 2 different species in here from South Africa. There's Drosera capensis, which is the Cape sundew, very easy to grow. And then there's also Drosera allicea here, this one like circular one. And you can see all the dew they have. And then one more. This is another one from South Africa. This one's called the King sundew. And these guys get big. And this one see how thick the dew is on this? These guys are super strong. Like,
whoa. Like
these guys can get pretty big prey.
Someone asked if you watch Crime Pace, but Botany doesn't. He's been here.
Yeah, Joey's awesome, man. So Joey has his own sanctuary, actually. So it's called Thornbury Sanctuary, and he's just starting to ramp up on like help there. Like I just visited him like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like went down to South Texas. Yeah. And so he's a little preview or whatever. He's starting to take donations to help help them like.
I should hit him up. It's been years.
Yeah. To help him like do a lot of revitalization for his site, and at some point maybe volunteers to help him like develop it as well. So like he's like way down like close to the border in South Texas.
Guys, way back when, those of you who remember, Joey was on the conservation cast on an episode, and Joey has been here as well.
Yeah, he did. He's a really fun guy. You guys should check him out.
Yeah. There's some crossover. Small world. You guys having fun? You learning a lot? They're loving it, by the way.
Another Nepenthe
so
species. Cool. I'm nerding out on this, but this guy's kind of was a recent find as well. This is called Nepenthes diabolica. It's got that great name because it looks like kind of sinister with the red and the hairy pictures and all that. And then another one that's kind of, people that like plants that are metal. These guys are dark. This is Nepenthes naga. It means dragon in Bahasa, Indonesia. And they've got like this dragon tongue appendage right there. That's kind of where the species gets its name. And they're really dark. Like I love using this in hybridization because it turns everything you cross it with like purple, like dark purple.
Wow. Cool.
And then these guys right here, I don't know if you want to show them these guys under the bench. These are called
so many plants.
Sun pitchers. Check that out. These guys are from the Tabletop Mountains in Venezuela. Like if you ever watched the movie Up, like that is where they're from. And they've evolved. They have not evolved for millions of years. I'll say that. Like they're a plant that has just kind of been up there, like isolated from everybody else. And there's very few. There's like 15 species, and almost all of them grow on top of the tepuis. And these guys are cool. They actually have like a nectar spoon. Like right here is called their nectar spoon, and that's where they produce sweet substances for insects to come and congregate, and then they'll fall into the pitcher.
Oh, and they flower.
They do flower. The flowers are really unique.
Good luck.
And they are actually bee pollinated.
Pretty.
So the only way to release the flower or the pollen is to take a tuning fork to them.
A what?
Yeah, a tuning fork, or actually, I even know somebody who uses an electric toothbrush.
Oh my gosh, how crazy. Guys, we haven't even gotten to talking about how he actually breeds plants. Like, I know we've been saying it, like, oh, we're trying to reproduce these. How does that work? You're gonna find out in a second.
Oh yeah, we'll go find some plants. We'll make some species. Man, maybe that can be one of the ambassadors, right?
Chat, we can breed one. We can make a plant baby. Mm-hmm. I did do that last time. It was very cool. Sweet.
All right, so should we go to the lab?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Does he use colloidal silver to reverse any plants for the breeding? Is that a plant thing? Or is
that actually is I believe that's used in the cannabis industry, because cannabis is also a lot of those plants are dioecious, meaning they're males and females.
Yeah.
So we haven't done that yet, but I don't think it would be that hard to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Shoes.
Yes, shoes off in the lab.
Lab time, everybody. This is so cool.
You can see
so cool.
You can see my limestone haul from the weekend.
Wow. those would be good, yeah.
I found so many cool things, like Central Texas. You guys know, like the scorpions, the centipedes, all that stuff is like amazing.
Yeah. Lab safety, shoes off household. Yeah, you guys will see why when we get in there. Some pretty serious stuff. Oops, sorry.
Oh. Hey.
Hope we don't have some here.
How's it going?
Hello.
All right. So we're at tissue culture lab right now. And I'm going to walk you guys through kind of the process that we go through. And maybe Halia, our lab manager, is right here.
Hi, sorry.
Yeah. She can also give you guys a little bit of a tour of the different plants that we grow here.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's see. So we have essentially like this is Jello with fertilizer and sugar in it.
Yum.
So the way we make that is we'll take these hot plates right here. We'll mix up a bunch of the chemicals that initially, go into it. We'll throw some agar in it, sugars, that sort of stuff, and we'll get like a flask of that. We'll pour it into these, and that's where we have right here with the sugar, or not sure, with the Jello, and then we'll put it into the autoclave over in the corner over there. And that superheats it up to above boiling temperature. So like it's got pressure and heat. Halia's just about to open it right now.
Hot. Look out.
It's to what, 120 Celsius?
Yeah. It's under pressure, so it's able to go above the typical boiling point. And then we end up going to the flow hood. And I don't know, Halia, do you want to mention how that works? Like how we sterilize stuff?
Our tools.
Yeah, or even like the chemicals that we use for sterilizing plant material and all that.
Yeah, so the types of tools types of chemicals we use to sterilize all the plant material are kind of your everyday household chemicals. So like bleach, hydrogen peroxide, vinegar is a really good one too. It's very acidic. So we use those types of chemicals to get everything in here and keep them sterile. And then once they're in here, whenever we're changing them out into new media, we do this all within the hoods. These are all sterile working areas. So like you saw, I was masked and gloved up, but everything here in this hood is gonna stay sterile to about here. So we can work and have the flasks open, the plants out, and they're not gonna get contaminated by anything else that's in the room or like ourselves, like our bodies. Yeah. And when we're done, we close up the flasks and we wrap them up with a little bit of saran wrap, and they get put into our storage room. It's pretty simple. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, in tissue culture is awesome. It's able to we're able to mass produce plants in ways that would not be possible, like if we were just growing them in the greenhouse. Because when they're in that sterile environment, we're able to give them plant hormones, other ways to get them to really accelerate growth. And this is pretty key for like a lot of conservation work. Because you're able to get things to grow so much faster, and you're also able to like essentially have them in a more compact form than like if you were just like growing them out in a greenhouse. So we've got like more genetic diversity in the lab on some species than there is in the entire rest of the world.
Cool.
Like for certain Nepenthe species, like a couple ones that are really, really endangered. And so after we've got them all sterilized, like I guess we would have them in like a flask that looks kind of like this. So you can kind of see the bottom right there. These are just seeds that have been sterilized.
Some of them have germinated already too.
Yeah.
Some of them start to look like this. And they're tiny, and then they get big like that.
Yep. And so by the time they're like this size, we're ready to start hitting them with like hormones to get them to multiply. There's something called callus that they can create, where there's a whole bunch of baby plants that come up from like the bottom, and if we get them in a callus, then we can start chopping them up and then growing them on new media, and so we get that's how we get like a lot of the plants multiplied.
This is a good example. So these are fly traps. This is Crazy Cup, and I just subcultured them, and so here we have just a few individual plants. And then after a few months, it looks like this, and so you can see the multiple growth points here. And those are all individual plants. We can separate them out and plant those up.
Yeah.
So pretty fast. These were done in October, and so within a few months we can get a lot of plants from this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, those are Venus flytraps right there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
She said those were from October, guys.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, and so we do different plants. Like, so I was showing you Nepenthes. Leah showed a flytrap. These are like the butterworts, the Mexican butterworts.
The mosquito ones.
Yeah, the mosquito-eating ones. They're really good as houseplants.
Cool.
These guys are really fast in tissue culture.
It said, is that gel like a nutritional medium? Yeah,
It
that's what you were
is.
saying earlier.
Yeah. So it's got sugars in it. It's got fertilizer, and it's got any of the hormones that we introduce to it to get it to do the different things we want it to do.
Crazy.
Is it the same type of stuff you use when you do like cultures or like spore cultures?
Yes, exactly. So actually, if you do, it's a very similar technique in methodology to doing like fungal cultures as well. Yeah, and even yeast as well. Like there's actually, that laminar flow hood came from a yeast facility where they were producing yeast for breweries in Hill Country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, and tissue culture is like one of those things where like we do have a lot of the more industrial equipment for doing it in the lab here because we do it commercially, but you can do it in your own kitchen. There's actually a resource called Kitchen Tissue Culture. Carol Stiff. She's getting a bit older now, but like she devoted a lot of her career to doing like workshops for people to learn how to do tissue culture in very simple environments, like in their kitchen, where like you literally just had like a fish aquarium turned over on its side to create like a sterile still box.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Someone asked, do you do this for all your plants or just the endangered ones?
No, so we do it for all of them. It's kind of we have to make calls on that. Like there's some plants that we can produce from seed. Yeah, we can produce from seed, and it's just more economical that way to do it. So, like, and we've developed methods in the greenhouse to do that. But there's other ones that are really slow in the greenhouse that it's just much easier to do from tissue culture. And then, there are some ones that are really endangered that we want to preserve as much genetic material as possible, so that we've got cultures in the lab.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more than this.
Oh yeah. So let's take a look at the library, I guess.
There's a lot of baby plants. Thank you so much. Very cool.
So this is our tissue culture library.
Wow.
We got a lot of plants in here.
That's a lot of little plants. So these ones all get taken out of the jelly or jello and then planted in little pots, or?
So like we use this area to grow. So some of these guys are slated to go out to the greenhouse soon. Other ones will be remultiplied. So like we'll grow them out, and then we'll recycle some of those back for another flask, and we'll multiply that as well. So it's just like this ongoing cycle of like of planting out and harvesting.
Yeah, got it. Cool.
Yeah, so we do all kinds of plants in here. I mean, we do mostly carnivorous plants, but like I don't know. For example, here's a variegated banana.
Oh wow! No way. How cool.
Yeah, so we do bananas. We got orchids in here. We got all kinds of stuff. But it's a pretty ubiquitous method to be able to propagate plants really quickly.
Yeah. And then I asked you last time, but I do forget the colors. There are different colors.
Yeah, those are different hormone treatments that we've given to plants. Like everything
like
wants something different.
And reds and okay, cool.
Yeah, so we optimize around what's going to work best for every plant. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of experiments. That's why we've got such a strong lab team here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any plants that glow in the dark under a black light?
So there's a lot of carnivorous plants that have really unique looks under ultraviolet light. So yes, like actually most carnivores, like for example the Nepenthes, the lips really shine under a black light. Like that's what insects see, so it makes sense, right?
They want to know more about the plant hormone treatment.
Yeah.
Like what kinds of hormones?
Yeah, I mean, there's two general classes of plant hormones. There's your cytokines or cytokinins, and there's auxins. Okay. So the cytokinins are ones that typically encourage more like more multiplication and like kind of more bushy growth, and then the auxins are ones that are more like elongation.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're just general classes. We use a bunch of different chemicals. Like, for example, benzoaminopurine is like probably the most common cytokinin, and then like there's this NAA. I forget. I'll butcher it, but there's an acid we use. It's the most common, like auxin.
Cool. Cool. How many species are in here? Right now? Like so many.
There's a lot.
Are these all like these are all the same?
No, these are all different.
Oh.
You notice all the labeling on them? Like these are all different
gosh, there are
species. There's
babies.
hybrids. There's
Little
all
baby
different genera in here. So I don't know. We probably have around 1,000.
1,000
Yeah, around 1,000.
species, not individual. Like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is way. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Do you know how many species you have on site?
I don't.
That's valid.
I really should know, but
No,
there's a lot
there's
to
a
keep
lot.
track of.
Yeah. Cool. Said, whoa. Do you mess with any of the genetics of those plants? Some people did ask about hybridization and how that works. So I guess we can talk about like
Yeah, definitely.
mechanics of it all.
Yeah, no, we can talk about mechanics, but maybe they're referring to tissue culture. Like you can actually, okay, so you can mess around with the chromosome count of plants, and it won't mess with the organism as much as like animals, or maybe it's just more humane with plants. I don't know. Like you can actually introduce certain chemicals. Like colchizine's one of them,
Yeah.
where it actually will double their chromosome count and make them like something called polyploidy. So like humans were like 23N, which means like 23 chromosomes, and
Yeah.
like and they're all in pairs. So like with plants, you could like double that. You could have something that's like say like 24N, but then like if you hit it with colchicine, it would like become like 48N,
Okay.
something like that. And sometimes that will give them the right characteristics that you want. For cultivating them, maybe they'll have a different look to them.
Right.
It's actually really common in some plants like orchids. We tend to not do as much of that in the lab because the chemicals that do that they will not distinguish between DNA of plants and DNA of animals.
Yeah.
So it's just a hazard in here for those type of chemicals. So we don't do that here. Occasionally we'll send something out and we'll get it treated with like high pressure nitric oxide, which also will do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Someone said, is there any way to donate to Carnivoro? You don't accept donations, but they can purchase plants, right?
Purchasing plants would really help support us.
Yeah,
And I can also highlight some great carnivorous plant causes they can support
Sure,
you as well.
yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Some of the best ones that I think, in these sports, like the International Carnivorous Plant Society, they do a lot of conservation work, particularly with native carnivorous plants like Sarracenia. So like I would highly recommend like donations to them. They do great work. They're working with a lot of habitat restoration right now,
Okay.
particularly like with extremely endangered Sarracenia species, like Sarracenia aureophila. So that's a great organization there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, mods, if you could link that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then if you are just getting here, we're at Carnivoro. This is Drew. He owns Carnivoro. And we're learning about plants. We are going to adopt some plant ambassadors to bring home to Alveus today. And if you're in the U.S., you can buy plants, like the ones that we've talked about today. You can get them shipped to your house, which is amazing. And you can go follow Carnivoro on Instagram. Let's see. I checked it before we started. I wanted to see if there was a difference. Carnivoro went up like 100 or 200 or something followers on Instagram.
Oh, wow. Thank you, guys.
More of you should go follow right now because there's more of you here right now. Cool. All right.
Cool. All right. So what do we want to do? We want to go breed some plants?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
Let's do that.
All right. Sounds good.
Year of the metrics. Guys, I'm refreshing the Instagram.
All right. Let's see.
I'm refreshing.
Hey, Bailey, you know where we could find a Q-tip
A Q-tip?
for Sarracenia breeding? By the way, this is our horticultural team manager, Bailey.
Up another 100.
Yes.
Nice.
I think there's a Sarracenia breeding box in the garage somewhere, but I don't know if that's Q-tips.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we can just use a forceps, I guess.
They asked how do you ship plants that have a lot of fluid associated with them?
Usually what we'll do for like Nepenthes, if they've got a lot of fluid in the pitcher and it's already an open pitcher,
Yeah.
we'll just dump it out.
Okay, cool.
You know, like it's just, you want us to dump us out, like it might get nasty in transit.
Right, yeah.
It also makes them lighter to ship.
Right.
So with those, we have like detailed care guides on like how to give your plant like a good home when it's acclimating. Just like making sure that it's well hydrated and like has high humidity, like just as it's settling in, and that's like all on our website. Yeah.
I'm refreshing. Nice, 30.4.
All right. Well, we will be able to do some pollinations. We can do a Saracenia pollination and we can do an Nepenthes pollination.
Great.
Yes. Bailey, do you know any females that are receptive right now?
Good question.
It's actually kind of funny because like right now, like every week, me and Bailey walk through the greenhouse like right at this time.
Yeah.
And like go through like the plants that need pollinated for the
Here in
week.
about 2 weeks, there will be a lot of females.
Yeah.
Scares right now.
Yeah, right now
Alright.
they're kind of, although they're like a lot of at least the tropical pitcher plants are like equatorial.
Yeah.
Even like the half-hour difference they get from like summer and winter there, quote unquote, or I guess they have half seasons there because like it goes up and down. That's enough to trigger their flower response.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But let's see if we can find one.
Okay.
And we'll do a pollination.
I'll follow you this
Yeah.
time.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. No worries.
Chat, it's time to be adults, okay? Someone asked if butterworts are pet safe.
They are, yes,
Cool.
definitely. Let's see. So how about we'll make a hybrid because we don't have a lot of plants in stock.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask Bailey to go get some pollen.
Okay.
And then we will pollinate the top here. So see this guy, how he's kind of purple?
Yes.
We're going to cross this one with a really toothy guy.
Okay.
And so hopefully we'll get like a very purple one that has a lot of teeth to it, which will be
crazy.
and really easy to grow.
All right.
So let me ask Bailey if she might be able to harvest a little bit of Haryana pollen. Hey Bailey, there's
any of you
the Max Ramsfina right there
purchased
that's slated for Haryana
plants
pollination.
online?
Could you get a little Haryana
Is
pollen
anyone
for us?
buying a plant? Isn't that
And then I was gonna have Maya go through and do
You
it.
can
If you
do
wouldn't
that?
mind just like grabbing some. Okay.
Like 2 heads.
Yeah, just like 2 heads, great.
one? Not yet. I'm going to. I've asked if people have purchased plants online. A few people in chat said they did. I have a cart ready. Cool. Cool.
Cool. Well,
So many
thank
choices.
you all. I appreciate that.
Cool. All right, so she's going to get pollen.
She's going
and
to get
then-
pollen, yes. So
and
that's in
then-
another room, but maybe we show everybody what pollen looks like.
Yeah.
At least with these guys, and then Bailey's got the Pacific pollen. Oh, here we go. Here's some pollen right here.
Nice.
So I mentioned that there's male and female plants. That's called dioecious.
Uh-huh.
So these guys are the pollen heads. So that's the
Yeah.
male part of this equation.
The yellow ones.
The yellow things on the tip. Let's see, what can I say about the pollen? It's kind of it gets stuck on insects, and then they go and they'll land on like the female part of the plants, and usually the female part of the plant is kind of sticky. It's called stigmatic fluid, and then from there, like you can get a pollination event.
Cool.
I will say, this stuff smells like on some species, it smells like stale Doritos.
Oh.
And one time, I had like one I was pollinating. This was like this big, and like it was when I was like around San Francisco. Like I was living like south of San Francisco, and I had like a fancy dinner to go to like in the city, and like I started like pollinating it, but then like I stumbled, and like all the pollen got down like on my suit,
No.
and I had no time to get back to change. So I went to a fancy restaurant smelling like stale Doritos, and it filled the room.
That's funny. Pollinating in a suit.
Lowland smells really bad right now.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Just that area.
So I'm going to try. Okay, yes. We have one that's very stinky right now, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
There. Yeah. All right. So see, we got the pollen head right there.
Yes. Does that help?
I'm manual focus for me.
Oh. It's the influencer meta. Okay.
So we're gonna put that on the stigma over here.
Okay.
So any of these guys like up there.
Wow, it really is like Velcro. Like it's just. Is that sufficient?
That should be, yeah. As long as the tip like looks
Crazy.
kind of like a little yellow and rough.
Yeah.
There you got it.
Wow. Cool. Easy as that, I guess, guys. Did you know that's how that worked? Yeah, now kiss, right. You know what's crazy? The person that said that in chat is a whole adult. The rest of them are younger. They're closing their eyes. I told you they're like, some of them are teenagers. So how long does this take?
It's gonna take about 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
And what will happen is these part, like there's the ovary is in there.
Yeah.
It will swell up. It will look like that. It will look kind of like a mini banana.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it will start to crack open. So Nepenthes, like some plants are like, their seeds are dispersed via water. There's other ones that are like really hairy and bristly that are more like animals. Like they'll catch on to like, say like a bear fur or something like that, and they'll get dispersed like over long distances that way. Other ones are wind dispersed, and that's what Nepenthes are. So like these seeds typically will get very like kind of long, and they actually have wings on them like for flight.
Cool.
So like a stiff breeze comes through,
Yeah.
and it will disperse them all throughout like
Wow.
their area.
Cool. That's awesome. We're all women in our 30s. Okay. I believe that a lot of you are in your 30s. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you, Joe.
All right, cool. Let's see. Let's do. Do we want to do a Sarracenia too? Remember,
Sure.
in the front, the storefront, we had more like Sarracenia that were ready.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that one. All right. Oh, we have orchids.
Yeah, it's
We've got an
beautiful.
orchid flower here too. Okay, these are a little trickier, but I can show you the different parts of this plant. So, like most orchids, I've actually never done a phalaenopsis, so I'm doing this on the fly here. But I'm just assuming, based on other orchids, the pollen is going to be over here, like underneath this little lip. And so I think, yeah,
Oh, wow.
you lift it, and like there's
gosh.
these little like pollen sacs right here. You can see there's like 2 right there.
Whoa. Okay.
And so you would take this, like this is, and these guys are, they've evolved to have a relationship with an insect that does this like perfectly. Like they're the perfect size. They're attracted to the smell, everything like that. Orchids
Right.
are very specific with what their pollinators are. And so like there's actually the stigma back here behind that area that we like kind of took out. So like you rub it back there. And I'm sure there's like this shield area back here behind where the pollen was, and now this orchid is pollinated.
That's crazy.
So the ovary is back here. It will swell up and elongate, and they'll get kind of big.
Yeah.
And orchids have this really cool relationship. It's called mycorrhizal, like with the seedlings. It means that this orchid seedlings need a fungus to help them along whenever they're really tiny. So they're not photosynthesizing it like a small size. So it's actually the fungus that like lives in their environment that will actually be providing the orchid, the tiny orchid sugar to get it to like start to grow.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's why orchids are so hard to grow from seed. Like
Right.
you need to have that fungus, or you need to have like a very old greenhouse that might have that fungus just kind of hanging out to really to get them going.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
All
sick.
right.
A lot of them are EU. Do you know of any like places they could buy carnivorous plants? in
Oh, from the
Europe?
EU?
Yeah. It's okay if the answer's no.
No. I can definitely recommend some places. There's actually, Europe has, it's got a great plant culture over there. Like it actually even more so than the US. So there's a lot of like nurseries that I know. Like there's this one called Green Jaws. My friend Matzi over there runs Green Jaws. They've got a lot of plants that are like targeted more for beginners over there.
Oh, okay.
So definitely hit them up over there.
Cool.
And let's see, other places. There's this big old nursery over there, Dutch nursery called Carniflora. They actually distribute most of their plants through garden centers.
Okay.
So you've got a much higher likelihood of finding a really cool carnivorous plant in like a garden center in Europe than you would in the U.S. actually.
Oh, cool.
You know, and so like we're trying to change that, right? Like one of the things we're trying to do here is just like get it so like more people are exposed to this stuff, and so we can like have them in like a wider venues, more people know about carnivorous plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But guys, if you're in the U.S., you can purchase plants online from Carnivoro. You can do Command Carnivoro.
Yeah.
Do that.
All right, so we were looking at this flower earlier.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, so Matt, if you want to take, you can see there's actually like that pollen right
Yes.
there. Actually, you can use your pinky too.
Okay.
You can use your pinky to like get at that pollen.
And then what?
And then you put it on one of the little hooks.
Oh, no. One of the hooks. Like these?
Right. Oh, this is a nice long hook right here. See that right there? Like you can just put it on right there.
Okay.
There we go. That's pollinated.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
That'll produce like a couple hundred seeds, and like by the end of the growing season, like by like September.
Crazy. It like doesn't feel like you're doing anything at all. Plants are so cool.
I know, right? And
Yeah.
like just to think about like the niche, like the insect that like
Yeah.
they evolved to like make sure like that flower was the right shape to like be able to do something like that very seamlessly.
Okay, so questions from them. You cross female and male of the same plant. How does that work genetically?
Yeah, so there's there are male and females like of Nepenthes species at least. And genetics, like they've got the same males and females, just like humans. Like we've each got like 23 pairs of chromosomes. So although like our gametes are going to be they're going to be different. It's going to be like sperm and egg. It's kind of similar for Nepenthes that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Does that make sense, chat? Did all of that make sense to you? Are you learning? A lot of people, and I'm not even just talking about them, I think a lot of people in general don't know how pollination works.
Yeah.
The actual mechanics of it or why it's important. They know the word and they know
Yeah.
that bees are pollinators.
Yeah.
But they don't know what they're actually
Well, like pollen, is really cool because pollen actually takes a pretty active role. Like whenever it lands on like the stigma, like right there,
Yeah.
they actually have like they like shoot out a little nodule, and then that actually starts eating away at the stigma. So like sometimes it takes like multiple pollinators, just like sometimes it takes like multiple sperm to like pollinate an egg, to like have a cooperative effect to actually be able to get all the way to the ovary to do their thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else? Or is it time to pick some plants? Do you have ideas for what you think our ambassadors should be? I'll give these back to you.
Sure.
Forget to take them out of my pocket.
I think one should definitely be Nepenthes veitchii because
Okay.
that one is definitely kind of a testament to like what horticulture has done to like curb trafficking.
Okay.
So Nepenthes veitchii.
Drought its time.
We can find a
Cool.
big one in the greenhouse, but it's like something like this size. Oh, it's stripy too.
Neat.
I love the stripes.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah.
Okay. Do these have common names? Are they all called pitcher plants?
Yeah, tropical pitcher plants is a common
Tropical
name.
pitcher plant.
But just for reference, this is the big version of that.
Okay. So how this one could get to be that size?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, within like maybe a couple years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Chat, here's the first one. I'm breaking out the googly eyes. It's time to come up with a name.
Yeah.
I will not put them on the plant itself, don't worry. I'm putting it on the plant pot. Chat, this is our first plant ambassador at Alveus, a tropical pitcher plant. You'll have to excuse, I don't use a lot of scientific names because they're too hard for people to remember, people including myself. So I will probably just say tropical pitcher plant. Pitcher McPitchface. That's awesome, guys. That's really great. Thank you for sharing. Pitchy. We're not calling it skibbity, chat. It's embarrassing. Timmy the tropical pitcher plant. Forsen. Oh gosh. Have you ever had anyone do this? True.
I've never had anybody do that.
It's kind of cute though, right? It's kind of nice. They want to call him Pitchy McPitchface. Ta-da! What do you guys think? Pitchy. They keep saying pitchy. Okay. You know what? We'll go with that for now. All right, pitchy it is for now. Introducing Pitchy. Okay.
I think that's a good name. All right.
Oh, neat.
You got a big sundew right here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this guy has very powerful leaves. So that guy should be able to catch a lot of flying insects, things like that. You can even grow that outside. Like that'd be a perfect one outside.
It's beautiful. So is this something like when I'm doing collaborations, if I, like flightless fruit flies, if I got one?
Oh, yeah.
I
No,
just
totally.
put them on as a demonstration?
Yep.
It's actually kind of sad. I would feel bad. Maybe I use cricket powder or something.
Yeah,
Or
cricket powder works. I guess I don't really recommend it, but I went on the radio last week and we fed a flytrap brisket. So,
that's right.
we're in Central Texas, so that works.
Chat, a name for, so what is the common name for this? Just
That's a sundew, a
sundew.
forked leaf sundew.
Fork-leafed sundew. Fork-leaf sundew. Okay, eyes number. He has bigger eyes because he's a bigger plant. So from a conservation perspective, then what can I tell? Like, what can I say about where they're from and what they do in their environments? Yeah.
So I mean, that one's from Borneo. The pitchy's from Borneo, and it's a tropical pitcher plant. Those guys catch like ground prey.
Yeah.
They've got this niche in the environment where they kind of scramble along the ground. And get anything that fits in there.
Catch ground prey. So like insects, but like small lizards and stuff too.
Yeah, they would get things like that.
Wow. Cool.
And then this guy right here is actually from Australia, and these forkleaf sundews tend to grow in like kind of savanna, like grass areas, where like the leaves. The reason why they're so big is because they're competing with grasses to like kind of get to above it, so they can get prey. And so it's interesting. Like some of these guys can get really long. Like if they're growing in a grass field that's like that high, it will produce a leaf like that high.
Yeah.
But if you grow them like kind of like it was before, like where it's not really impeded down there, then it will actually stay kind of compact like that.
Cool. They unsurprisingly came up with the name Dewey.
I like it.
So we have Pitchy and we have Dewey. Wonderful. Very cool. What else, chat? What else do I tell people on collaborations? I'm trying to make sure I asked Drew all my questions. Are these plants that are poached commonly?
So the penthes, yes, yes.
Okay. I can talk about plant poaching.
Yeah, that is quite commonly poached.
How much do they need to eat? They don't need to eat very much, right?
Like a bug a month will really help it along.
And this is a dumb question.
No dumb questions.
One bug in here for the whole plant per month?
Yeah, well,
one bug per pitcher?
I would say one bug per pitcher.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yes, Pitchy gets poached, so we'll talk about poaching. What is plant poaching? When people go out in the wild and pick plants, poach plants, so that people can own them in their house or for use in medicine and stuff like that. A butterwort.
We got a butterwort here.
Beautiful. Those flowers are beautiful. And he's got a lot of food. Cool.
You have mosquitoes on that.
And this is the Mexican butterwort, right?
Yes, that's a Mexican butterwort.
Cool. Eyes, chat, what do you got? What names you got for the butterwort? Stop with the. You guys have to be more creative than that. They're just saying Mrs. Butterwort. There's got it. They're not calling it butt. Chat, please. I tell you that they're young, then they complain and they're like, we're 30. And then they come up with names like that. I'm sorry. Embarrassing. Betty. Yeah, we already have a chicken named Betty, so that's not an option. Butterfinger, Butters. You know what? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe we just call her Mrs. Butt. Cute. Cool. And you say they flower all year too?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, constantly.
They're so pretty.
And those guys are just like a succulent. Like you can actually break off a leaf, and lots of little baby plants will just start growing off of it.
No way. Oh
Yeah.
no. Oh no. Sorry. Cool. John Rizzi. Who's that?
John, it's the breeder who came up with that. Yeah,
That's
John
awesome.
Rizzi.
John Rizzi.
And picked it because that thing flowers all the time. Like it was one of the best combinations.
Benjamin Butterworth.
I like that.
Audrey. Who's Audrey? Why are you saying Audrey?
Audrey? You don't know Audrey?
No.
Little Shop of Horrors?
No.
Audrey too? Yeah, like the Feed Me Seymour.
I should probably know about that. Oh great, now they want to call it Rizzi because of the name. It's Rizzi, chat. We'll discuss this. I'll discuss this with them later. Okay, these are great. Is there anything else that you think I should teach people about? Besides everything.
Yeah, no, just like to
Any other good ambassadors?
Oh, well, you can't
A fly trap?
not have a fly trap as an ambassador.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Cool. That demonstration that you did was so cool. So if I have collaborators once a month, ideally twice a month, probably will be twice a month.
Yeah.
That demonstration that you did is not a big deal to do that with that frequency?
No. Like not. You don't want to do it all the time because there's such an it takes a lot of energy for them to close actively. Like most carnivorous plants are a little bit more passive. Like maybe like a sundew will slowly curl their lip around or their leaf around to like get more surface area to help with digestion. These guys actually just snap, but like you do that all the time, it's going to take a lot of energy from it.
Okay. Is there like a lifespan?
A lot of plants, they reproduce so much, like it's kind of hard to track
tell where
that.
It stops and starts. Yeah.
I mean, there are plants that are like, up to like 5,000 years old. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. So one of the coolest hiking trips I ever went on is like I went to the peak of Mount Humphreys in Arizona, and they've got these bristlecone pines up there that are thousands of years old.
It's incredible.
It's amazing.
So cool. And then when will they need to be repotted? I guess that's Lucas will know, but
yeah. So I mean, most of the time, like carnivores, like I mentioned, they're kind of good for making do with less, like just because their soil is already very poor already. So they don't need to be repotted like super quick. Like fly traps like it maybe like once every year to get them really going. Nepenthes, it's kind of rule of thumb, like once or twice or once every year or two. Similar like butterworts barely have roots, honestly. Right,
because you plant them in limestone.
Yeah, you plant them on limestone. They're just really anchors.
Oh, no. His eyes are falling. Dewey's eyes are falling down. Okay. McFly. They want to. So we have chat. We have a pitcher plant that you want to call Pitchy, a sundew that you want to call Dewey, a Venus flytrap that you want to call McFly, and a Mexican butterwort that you want to call Butt. That's awesome, guys. That's really awesome. Cool. And then where are these native to? The Venus
North Carolina.
Oh, right. Cool.
North Carolina.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'd say like learning about the environments of these guys can be as cool as learning about the plants.
Yeah.
And then you get an understanding of like the unique ecosystem which has shaped their evolution over so many years.
They're so cute. Wow. Cool. Cool. Chat, this is our ambassador lineup. Right? Yeah? Looks pretty good.
You want another one that you can they can come up with a creative name for the corpse flower?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
Chat, you want to name the corpse flower? You heard what their names are. They're really bad. So Oh, no way.
Here we go.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, how cool. They were freaking out when we saw these in the greenhouse. Saying that
Awesome.
they wanted to bring one home. That's awesome. Yeah, they said corpsey. So cool, guys. That's so cool. So this is how old?
That's about a year,
Okay.
more or less.
This is a year, and that's 5, 7?
Yeah, because like they do their thing where like they'll grow and they'll just like they'll stop like after they shoot out the leaf and then they'll die down.
Oh my gosh. Chat, we have our hands full. Oh my gosh, how cool. I'm sorry, they changed their mind. They want to call him Stinky. Okay. Okay, everybody, that's fine. That's cool. There's this is the chat. Chat, be nice. He's reading it. Where did I put the googly eyes?
Back right pocket.
Oh. Yes. Okay, Stinky. Oh, here's ours. Yeah, guys, we have 5 new plant ambassadors. Thanks to Drew. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So cool. Chat,
Hey,
you want to
how's
say
it
thank you
going?
to Drew? They had so much fun. Twitch is so cool, and I think I talked to you about this last time. Is like the platform was built for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's mostly men and it's mostly gamers. Like they're not. There are some actually biologists in my community, but typically they're not. So it's a really important demographic to reach with conservation messaging. A demographic that's
Yeah.
not usually getting it otherwise.
Yeah.
But they loved this.
Yeah.
They thought it was so cool. They're all saying thank you.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Thanks guys for learning about plants and for hanging out.
How cool is that? That's so cool. Thank you so much. Guys, we're at Carnivoro. There's still about 6,000 of you here. I would love to see more of you follow Carnivoro on Instagram. He's got up a couple hundred followers. Surely they can go up like 1,000 followers today. That's Command Carnivoro in chat. And then if you're in the US, you can purchase, like these are the plants that you ship out, right?
Oh yeah, no, these
Like,
these are like all for sale in the storefront.
You can purchase one of these guys. Look, how cute is that? A little baby pitcher, Nepenthes. So cool. And Carnivoro ships throughout the US, which is very cool. So check them out. We have so much to learn from a conservation perspective about plants. It's just like not something that people talk about enough. So I'm so excited to do more of that. We will be introducing here, we'll put them in a little lineup. Oh, wow. In my head, they're all friends. In reality, they're cute. Guys, look at them. Our first plant ambassadors at Alveus Sanctuary. We will be introducing them in the first collab in our new studio rebuild on Thursday with Steak and Creekcraft. And then the following week, we have Primogen coming for a second collab, so he will be meeting some of the plant ambassadors as well. Maya, tell us their names again. Okay. This is a corpse flower. His name is Stinky. This is a tropical pitcher plant named Pitchy. This is a forkleaf
Sundew, yeah.
Forkleaf sundew named Dewey. This is a Venus flytrap named McFly. And, oh my gosh, taller than I thought. And this is a Mexican butterwort named Butt. Chat, Stinky's okay. But I will not do that again.
Stinky's gonna be just fine.
He's just fine.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's okay. Oh yeah, it hit 30.5. Wonderful. Thank you. 500-ish followers on Instagram today. Very
Wow.
cool. Make sure to check out
Thank
Carnivoro's
y'all.
website and make sure to purchase a plant if you want to try it. They also sell these soils online on their website, so you can make sure that your plant has the stuff that it needs. And you could put googly eyes on your plant if you want. I don't know. You can name your plant if you want to. That is going to be it for today. Is there anything else that you want to shout out?
No, guys. I mean, thank you for the opportunity for sure, Maya.
Oh, of course.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you have so much knowledge. It's so cool. They learn so much.
Yeah, no, I mean, come visit the storefront anytime you're in Austin.
Yeah.
Maybe you're here for ACL or South by Southwest or something like that. We love to have people out. Stay tuned. We do events, we do workshops, just trying to get the word out of, the world's most amazing plants.
Very cool. All right, guys, check out Carnivore's website. Check out Carnivore on Instagram. I'm going to raid Alveus, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.